Today I'll be comparing the Super 73 S1 to the Nakto F2. The Super 73 is the original fat tire moped style e-bike. The Nakto is a much lower budget competitor. Both have similar features like 500 watt motor, 16 amp hour batteries, and fat tires. However, there are some smaller differences that make the Super 73 worth it, or maybe not. The Super 73 is thicker and it gives the appearance of a more aggressive look. I think the styling of the Super 73 is a little bit better. It has that shorter mudguard, the tires a little bit thicker, profile's a little bit lower. Overall, it just looks better. The handlebars on the Nakto F2 don't really match the forks. Handlebar on the Super 73 matches with the Super 73 forks, and they're just overall nicer. These little things, they might matter to you. Moving to the front suspension, the Super 73 does not have any. The Nakto F2, well, it has front shocks and it has quite a bit of give. The hydraulic brakes, they feel better, that's for certain. However, the 180 millimeter rotors, it's a cost-saving measure. However, it works good. The brakes, they're good enough to lock the tires, ample stopping power, and it is whisper quiet. They make no noise. Moving towards the batteries, both of them sport 48 volts, 16 amp hours. However, Super 73 uses Panasonic cells, and the Nakto F2 uses cells made by high school dropouts. They do make a difference. With the Super 73, I was able to get 25 miles for the range test. With the Nakto F2, I was only able to get 23. I mean, it's close, but it's not the same. What I liked about the battery of the Super 73 S1 is that it gave some predictability. When it's about to deplete, it blinks and lets you know that you have maybe a mile or two left. The Nakto F2, when I was low on battery, it was there for a split second to notify me. It blinked a little bit and then it just ended. And you can't just end it while I'm having fun. This is probably due to the cell safety issue that the controller has built in, but still I'd like to have more advanced notice so I don't have to pedal that extra mile and a half home. Gears versus no gears, you would think that the Nakto is better. It has 6 gears. However, it's not that simple. Add gears 1 and 6, it's not particularly that good. I can adjust it, I can make it work. However, the front sprocket doesn't have a derailleur and it tends to slip. The Super 73, on the other hand, this has a single gear, and what I love about it is the simplicity. Despite the newer Super 73s having multiple gears, I don't think it's really all that necessary for these moped style e-bikes. You only need the pedals to get going, and a little bit of cadence doesn't hurt. A small detail that I didn't catch until they were side by side, this chain, it's a little bit thicker. Yeah, I like it because it's thicker, it's beefier. This is really cool. You have 12 millimeter axles here, 10 millimeters here. 12 millimeter axle is going to have much more strength, holding power, clamping power, endurance. Since we're on the subject of drivetrains, let's talk about the motors. They're both 500 watt motors, and the Super 73 looks to be the bigger motor, but it's actually the same size. The 500 watt rating is somewhat deceptive because the Super 73 is a Super 73 motor and the Nakto is not sure what it is. Based on the hill test, both of them performed well. Going up a 15% grade is not easy. The Super 73 did it at the toughest part with an average of 7 miles per hour. The Nakto F2 did it at the hardest part at 5 miles an hour. So 2 mile per hour difference, it does, it's a stronger puller. You want as much torque as you can possibly get because these are passenger style e-bikes. You can carry more than one person with this. I want to reiterate that the fact that either one can make it up to 15% grade, they are strong climbers. When it comes to top speed, there was an even larger difference. The Super 73, which is a Class 2, was supposed to go only 20 miles an hour. It clocked in at 24. The Nakto F2 clocked in at 20. Both of these e-bikes should be able to go faster. However, unmodified, the Super 73 S1 is faster. Looking at the rear, well, the F2 is missing a rear light. The Super 73 S1, it has a rear brake light, which is quite nice for this bike. So at this point, you might be thinking that the Super 73 S1 is a clear winner. However, check this out. The Nakto F2 has a soft tail rear dual suspension system. The Super 73 is a hardtail. This matters a lot. When you're riding at high speeds, any little bump you feel and that stability is just a whole lot more on the Nakto F2. With the shocks, there's no time during your ride where you feel that you lose traction on the ground. This is especially important when you're traveling at high speeds, even at 20 miles an hour. There's no way I can afford to fall at that speed, and with the full suspension, you just feel so much more stable. With these moped style e-bikes, I really feel that a full suspension should be standard. I mean, would you buy a moped that doesn't have a full suspension? They all come with full suspensions. Sure, if your goal is to ride aggressive on trails like a BMX dirt bike, all right, fine. You don't need a suspension system, but for folks that are on the streets, safety is a major concern. On top of that, who doesn't enjoy a comfy ride? These are cruiser style bikes. Who doesn't like a comfortable suspension system when you're riding? That said, my day-to-day driver is one of these hard suspension systems. And I'll tell you, when I'm going back and forth between the two, the difference in comfort is quite dramatic. I mean, I'm taking these e-bikes on for long rides. I'm talking about 2 hours daily, and no matter how good your aftermarket seats may be, the trembling, the vibrations, the bumps, they will get to you after 2 hours. It might not bother you, but it might bother your passenger who will complain about just about anything. And of course, the elephant in the room, $2,000, $1,000. You've got one that is a status symbol and one that has high practicality. I'm not totally against high value brands. I do love Rogaine. Bruh. When you're at one of these beach cities, you'll see that the Super 73 is littered all over the place because it's extremely high value. Even used Super 73s are extremely sought after, especially among thieves. You know it's good when this is the e-bike of choice among criminals. On the other hand, if you're a more practical person or a really cheap Asian, the Nakto F2 is half the price with 90% of the performance and 80% of the charm. Those numbers are completely made up, but you get the point. You're getting a ton of value with the Nakto compared to the S1. It's not the real thing. Maybe it's close enough. It has a full suspension system compared to nothing at all. It has full mudguards compared to this half measure. It has metal pedals compared to plastic. The wheels have nice fish scaling here, just a blob here. Both have UL listed chargers. However, Nakto has a 3 amp charger, which is 50% faster than 2 amp. Despite the price difference, some people may not care because the Super 73 is a premium bike. People know that getting into it. They're paying for the brand, they're paying for the service, and you definitely won't be able to get the same type of service with the Nakto. However, Super 73s are not flawless. They are mechanical e-bikes at the end of the day, and they can run into trouble. These controllers have been recalled. There is a newer one available. And guess what? When you get it, you'll have to change it yourself. Super 73 isn't going to ship back the bike so that you change it. The controller down here, there's been an upgraded controller, and guess what? Super 73 is gonna send you the part, but you have to change it yourself. Nakto, well, you're not gonna get in-person support like you do with Super 73. However, you can get parts. Nakto is well known to provide a lot of parts with their e-bikes. You might not be able to find it right now because this is a relatively new e-bike. However, you will be able to get replacement parts. Batteries, throttles, controllers, you can get all of that online for their older e-bikes. So tell me, which would you choose with your hard-earned money? $1,000, $2,000? Keep in mind, you are keeping these e-bikes for a long time, so $2,000 might not be such a big deal. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. See you in the next one. Take care.